Okay, so your new exciting, joyful template, yes, eating should be joyful, is called nourishment. It's not about denial, it's about changing your perspective. It's not going to be about calorie counting. It's about feeling satiated, feeling nourished, feeling safe. You can calorie count if you want. You can calculate your BMR if you want. I actually prefer to take the stress out of diet, and that's why we've dropped the whole concept of diet and focused on what it's bringing rather than what it's denying. So, first things first, we're going to talk about the 3 gates methodology that you can use to actually assess which foods work for you and how to keep the foods which are not helping you or not serving your health out of your castle. And because you all know by now that I'm super visual, the 3 gates methodology, what I mean by that is I envisage you all as separate Disney castles, or whichever castle you want to be. It can be something from Game of Thrones, it can be something terrifying from Mordor, whatever you want. Your castle, your business. But imagine you have 3 gate houses crossing the moat to arrive at your castle. And at each gatehouse, you're going to be asked a separate set of questions. And I always imagine that there's some people bringing some supplies into the castle, your castle, and the job of the gatekeepers is to ensure that everybody inside the castle, your castle, remains healthy. Because when they remain healthy and eat the foods that serve them, everybody's more joyful, they've got better energy, there's less sickness, there's less disease, and that works for everybody inside the castle. So let's unpack this. What happens when the food arrives at gate 1? The questions they're asked is, does this food contain seed oils? If so, it gets thrown out. Does it contain gluten or gluten-like grains? If so, it gets thrown out. And is it highly processed? If it's highly processed, if it's been super baked, typically it's got a load of additives in. Typically it's got seed oils in. Typically it's got acrylamides in. Now, I appreciate that some people will turn around and say, actually, I'm not sensitive to gluten. We're not talking about gluten sensitivity or reaction to it or celiac or non-celiac. What we're talking about is what gluten does to your intestinal permeability. Now, gluten and gluten-like grains trick your body into releasing something called zonulin. And if we imagine this is the brush border, the cells inside your intestines, when you release zonulin, your body or your gut opens. And that allows whole food proteins and bacteria, and basically the food inside your colon, to come into your bloodstream. And this is associated with massive inflammation. It's associated with brain fog. It's associated with decrease in energy. It's associated with autoimmune disease and food intolerances and sensitivities. So for the first 4 to 6 weeks, I would advise you to really embrace this and just cut this out and see how you feel. For most of you, and I'm literally guessing at least 90% of you, you will see a dramatic difference in your energy, your skin, sleep, and for some people, even thyroid and libido. And interestingly, I'm just going to go back to when I first studied functional medicine with Chris Kresser. He found that using a similar template to this actually reversed 85% of Hashimoto's thyroid cases. Isn't that incredible? Just taking that debt off your immune system by sealing and healing the gut. So if we want to follow the balance, quench, calm and get all the benefits from it, one of the things we need to do is cut out gluten-like grains, these highly processed foods and seed oils. Typically, highly processed foods have all of these 3, which is why I've put them together. Remember, this template is not forever. There's a huge difference between getting out of health debt and maintaining health. You will probably find that as your health improves, your energy improves, and as you reboot your gut, that actually you can reintroduce foods and you can go to restaurants and you will be not touched by any of this. You will be resilient. But first of all, we need to earn that. We need enough health currency in the bank account to see you through that spending. So, gate 2. What are the questions in gate 2? The next guards to the castle ask, okay, I can see you've cleared out seed oils. I can see you've cleared out gluten-free grains and mass-processed baked goods. They're gone as well. Well done. Just another check. Is there any oxidized fats in there? Rancid seed oils? Like flaxseed that's been ground 2 years ago and been kept in the cupboard because you knew it would come in helpful in a rainy day. Or some omega-3 tablets that you've inherited from great Aunt Mabel that you've wanted to use but have been left in sunlight. Or, for instance, I'm using olive oil at high temperatures and it's oxidized, but it's okay because it's part of the Mediterranean diet. Well, that needs to go as well. And we're just going to call that oxidized fats. So they need to go why they're super pro-inflammatory. And the other thing at this gate is mass-produced dairy. There's lots of reasons for this. Part 1 is the type of casein that's in there. We're talking about dairy. There is something specifically about dairy here, but this is typically from Friesians and antibiotics and, holy moly, hormones. Depends which part of the world you're in. In Europe, it's not legal to actually give the cows hormones. In certain parts of the US, I understand that they are still giving estrogens to cows to make them lactate more, which can be super hormonally disruptive, especially, for instance, you're in perimenopause and you've got estrogen dominance and you're taking on board a load of estrogens from your food as well. So mass-produced dairy. If you are tolerant to dairy, there are lots of benefits. There are some good raw dairies, there are some good goat dairy, there are some good sheep dairy, and there are a lot of benefits from dairy. So if dairy is rocking your world and you're not intolerant, you don't have eczema or atopic dermatitis, you don't have IBS or Crohn's, you're not falling into the trap of kefir. It's something ancient and I really appreciate what it signifies to me. But actually every time I eat it, I get rampant diarrhea and bloating. If you're not in any of those danger spots, then please continue with the dairy consumption. If you've got any of those symptoms, it's probably a good idea to cut it out until you've resolved them and reintroduce it slowly, which is the golden rule for any food, to be fair. And this leads us on to gate 3. And this is all about your immune system. Is it triggering your immune system? And everybody is different. And this is why I am not your practitioner. You need to be your own practitioner here. If you're eating eggs and they are organic, fair trade, but every time you eat them, you get stomach bloating or you get diarrhea and then you have an energy crash and you've been looking at your Oura ring and basically your heart rate goes up 10 beats a minute after you've eaten it and you feel a bit hot and a bit tingly, well, that's not serving you. That's triggering your immune system. If it's triggering your immune system, it's creating probably intestinal permeability. It's raising your cortisol. It's draining your energy and it's creating inflammation. That doesn't serve you. So be attentive to foods which might be triggering you. Eggs is a classic. I am loath to say to people, do not eat eggs. I know lots of people are using them as a staple. If you feel it's triggering your immune system, then just cut them out for a week or 2 weeks and see how you feel. That is always the best way to do this. Fear not, reassuringly, I'm showing you how to protect your castle, and then I'm going to show you how to nourish your castle. So eggs can be something there. What else goes into there? Well, mass-produced dairy. Some people are super cross-reactive to things like oats because their body is hyper-reactive to gluten. And all of this is really relevant to you in perimenopause and menopause because as estrogen levels change, estrogen is also a regulator of intestinal permeability. And estrogen is also an anti-inflammatory. So as that changes, foods that you might have been able to tolerate become marginally intolerable. Please be your own investigator. Quite often it's the things that you rely on as your staples that you've become intolerant to because you've got intestinal permeability. This isn't your fault, it's just the way we age. Quite often, just by cutting it out for a period of time, rebooting your gut, putting in lots of brilliant lactobacillus, bifidobacteria, akkermansia is going to protect you and allow you to digest these things and get the benefits of them without the downsides. So we've talked about immune system, and the other part of this at gate 3, the other question is, does this affect your hormonal balance? And that can be things like soy full of phytoestrogens and glyphosates, to be honest, or barley. All of these are really high in phytoestrogens. And whilst some people will say, hey, I want to get through perimenopause and menopause using only natural products, I have to be honest, I rarely see people successfully and vibrantly manage symptoms by using just plant-based products. Why? You cannot calibrate them. You can't measure them. You can't send every morsel of food to the laboratory. It's far easier, safer, and clinically proven to use bioidentical HRT and to actually cut the confusing phytoestrogens out of the diet unless they have been lab tested. So let's just recap, and then we're going to move on to what you can be focusing on for the next 4 to 6 weeks before you start introducing some new foods. So this is a phase, enjoy it, embrace it. You're getting lots of the benefits of resetting your autonomic nervous system, sealing and healing your gut, reassuring your body it's safe to lose some body fat, and you're going to be stimulating some new muscle growth. So seed oils, glutens, gluten-like grains, baked processed goods, oxidized fats, including old omega-3 supplements, and any kind of mass-produced dairy. Be really, really focused and assiduous about which dairy you use to serve you rather than inflame and challenge you. The final part is just be attentive to anything which is challenging your immune system, and that is super personal to you. Feel free to ask questions, and then anything which could be imbalancing your hormones. I appreciate that might seem like a lot, but when I provide you with all the alternatives, you'll be able to go, And what I advise and what I see successful clients doing is they focus and embrace on all the things they can eat, nourish themselves, feel amazing. Quite often they say, holy moly, this is the first time I've eaten this much and felt this good and slept this well. And actually I'm losing body weight, I'm losing body fat, and I'm going to show you how.